Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com, and we send out emails and we like to find out from customers questions they'd like to know, things about different kites or different boards or different equipment. Today's thing is about the classification of the kite and I guess you'd say the categories of different kites. You may have seen sea kites. Of course, those are a lot in the older type days. We didn't call them seas at that time, we just call them water kites. But you go from sea kites, then you went to bow kites, delta kites, delta foil kites, delta sea kites, hybrids, and everything else. I want to see if I can give you some classifications in here, what make the difference in these. So the main thing is when you come down to the bow type kite, a bow kite back in the day is kind of a name that they come up with, a more of a flat type design. Now Cabrini came up with it and a couple other people were just behind them. Now what would make the difference in these kites? Now a bow kite I would call a little bit more flatter type shape. So such as if you took a kite like this and you got a nice little flat shape to it, that was more what they considered a bow. Now a lot of these are just terminologies. You'll see another kite brand come up and they're going to call it something else, a sea hybrid or whatever they might want to call this thing, and come up with different names and classifications. Understanding what each one of them does in those classifications and what the difference is the main thing I want to show today. So you may have your bow, which is usually a little bit flatter. You usually had your sea kite, which had a lot longer tips and everything else. Now the difference is when you get into a C-type shaped kite with long tips like this, the only main difference that you're going to find out is they're going to be definitely more difficult to relaunch. Also, if you look at that kite, the more the power that you have is only within this very small area of the kite. Everything else is mainly drag. It doesn't give you as much pull. So it's okay. A big tendency of a C-type kite is they turn really quick. But a lot of people have taken these two types of ideas and they've put them into one, and I call that more of a hybrid type kite. Someone's come in and putting a lot of the D-power ability that you'll get out of a bow or you'll get out of a delta or anything else, and also put that turnability of the C-type kite. So I call that a hybrid, my personal self, and there's a lot of kites out on the market that are in this range. One is, for instance, the Octane or the Rev in the slingshot side of things. In the liquid force you see the Hi-Fi, you see the Havoc. Things like that that have a little bit more side shape to them, I would call that more of a hybrid. It's a mixture between a C, get your turnability, but it also gets your D-power ability. Now, relaunch is still sometimes a little bit more difficult on these type of kites. So if you want to classify and you want to get into the sport, I don't recommend those as a beginner type kite or someone just getting in. Sometimes they can be very frustrating on relaunch. Learning the technique, ask your instructor, they know how to get those relaunched. So if you want to skip some little steps, go for it. That may help you out. Now the next styles that I get into is like the Delta. Everybody asks about the Deltas. A Delta type shape, I would say it has very wide tips. Delta's terminology came in with the F1 style of kite. They're really neat. They cause really good stability. And the reason is a lot of this is the weight is further back on these tips. Therefore the kite wants to right itself. If you try to pull it over forward, they want to kind of right themselves. So it's a really nice design, and they also got them where they're riding really fast nowadays. So a lot of times in stability they used to widen or fatten up the leading edge. That causes some resistance and makes these kites back up and give you stability. Now they're putting it more into the design and the shaping, and they can get all the leading edges and everything down to smaller sizes and increase their riding speed. Another one that's a really nice kite is the Slingshot Rally. Now the Rally is a really nice kite. It has this Delta type shape. They call it a Delta C. I don't know where they got that terminology. I believe they come down to a point and they lopped off the tip and they said Delta C. I don't know. So does it matter? Does it make a difference? Yes. Fly these kites and give them a try. I have found that the Rally turns really fast and really nice, has a really good jump to it and everything else. Kites that are very, very stable, that are used in surf, usually aren't the best jumpers. And the only reason is they're real stable. So when they pop you up, they'll catch the wind across the leading edge and start beginning backing up. And that gives you stability. It's great in the surf because as soon as you turn at the kite, it runs. So if you get into the sport and you're curious which one you get into, really there's a lot of kites that are coming into the market that are all around type shape. I don't care if they call them Delta, Cs, bows, or whatever. I look at them as hybrids mainly. Look at a kite that has a good relaunch to it. That is a shaping, usually bringing the tips back a little bit. Therefore, the kite wants to sit on the water and it wants to rotate up one way or the other. Makes them very simple for relaunching and makes it easy for you. They've combined that easy relaunch into a high-performance kite in a lot of brands. In the ozone side, the Catalyst is a really nice one that we like a whole lot. It has a really fast forward speed. It has a really good turn ratio, kind of like a C. It doesn't have any pulleys on the bridle. So that's a really nice. Now, what would I call that? I'd probably call it more of a hybrid, basically. It's got a really good turn speed, full depowerability, and supported leading edge kite. So when they come down to the Sigma or the Delta, the C, or whatever it is, make sure that you try the kites out. Talk to your professionals at your shop and really get the ones that are going to match you for your riding abilities, not the kite that they have in stock. We will make sure to match you up with the exact right kite. If we do get that chance to match you up to the exact kite when you give us a call, we'll stand behind that sale. If it's not the right kite for you, we'll take things back and get you set up right. So, doesn't matter what the shaping is, not a big deal. Definitely don't look for the C's if you're just getting into the sport. Mostly look at the Deltas, the hybrids, and the bows are really nice. But give us a call. We'll set you up here at Kiteboarding.com, and hopefully that'll help you out in your riding.